Hi everybody, as you guys know, it's Mercury retrograde. It happens 3 times a year and for 3 weeks, and we're in the shadow period about a week before, week and a half before, and about a week and a half after. Most of you guys at this point, I'm sure, know the basics of Mercury retrograde. We have to not sign contracts if we can help it. We have to basically not make any big major decisions in our lives. We have to expect people from the past to return, but one of the things I do want to talk about, the something that's not talked about often that happens with Mercury retrograde is resentments from the past come back. So the reason why I want to talk about this, because I was thinking about this the other day. I got this phone call from this lady a couple of years ago. You guys know I don't answer my phone a lot because I get I'm a talker and I get roped into talking to people, and then I don't get stuff done. So they just fill out the form on my website, whatever. So I did answer my phone. This was like a long time ago, like 8 or 10 years ago. And I had no idea who this lady was, but I got into this 2-hour conversation with her, and she was talking about Mercury retrograde, and she's like, I'm so miserable every single Mercury retrograde. And I noticed this with a lot of people. And one of the reasons is because those of us who tend to be the, marinate the grudges, those resurface with a passion during that time. Because remember, retrograde means going backwards. So everything from the past is resurfacing, including our emotional stuff is coming back. We're remembering things, back from 20 years ago or even 6 months ago that somebody did to us. So I do want to touch on this because this is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio right now. So Scorpio is kind of known as a sign that holds on to stuff. They're not really like, oh, I'm going to forgive this person, whatever. And I'm not saying forgiveness is a bad thing, but, there's two, in my opinion, there's two different types of people in the world. There's people that get mad and they explode. Those are usually fire signs, and then they're over it. And then there's people that marinate that grudge, cultivate it, water it, for years and years and years. I would be a hypocrite if I was saying, if anybody who out there who knows me knows I hold a grudge. So, and I'm not trying to be one of these psychics or, mystics that's like, I'm perfect, I'm more perfect than you guys. Like some of them are like, I like to be as authentic as possible with my customers and everything else. So we all have our weaknesses, we all have our strengths, and that's my personality. Just like I know a lot of you guys have the same personality. I am not an explosive person. I am somebody who will essentially not let stuff go. So because this particular Mercury is in Scorpio, we're dealing with even more of an intensity, okay? So now it goes direct right around the election. So, this is going to be an intense couple of weeks, but remember, we're not in the clear when it goes direct. We still have a week and a half to deal with it. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of people are really confused all the time when Mercury's retrograde, including myself. But my birthday is next Saturday, not today. And a couple of my friends messaged me this morning, and they're like, "Happy birthday!" And I didn't remember. I'm like, is today my birthday? But it's actually next Saturday. So, and I am accepting gifts. So I'm that easy. I'm just kidding. But it's the 24th, 1 degree Scorpio. So anyways, so basically that's what the gist of it is. Now, one thing, and I have not perfected this yet, but one thing I want to tell you guys to kind of ease the pain of this, because it is real pain, you know what I mean? To have to kind of go back and, sometimes we can go back to middle school, you know what I mean? Oh, remember what this person did, Sometimes you get so many grudges that you don't even remember why you don't like somebody, but you just know that you don't because they did something, okay? So anyways, I do have a story about this, and this happened. I was thinking about this today, and I was like, God, I really need to practice this more and maybe tell people about this, because this actually works if you have that type of personality. And that is, I worked at this coffee shop in my 20s, okay? And so those kind of people that are always claiming to be witches, and that's not my style, that's not me. So I worked with this girl, and I knew she wasn't really crazy about me, and she was always talking about how she's a witch and she's into witchcraft, and I'm not even into that stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, you're powerful. So she's talking to me about that. And so anyway, one day, I'm in 20 something, whatever, I'm doing something. I'm really bad at anything at restaurants too, but I'm doing something in the back, and this something came down and hit me in the nose so hard. It hit me so hard that I saw stars, you know, like in the cartoons when people would see stars. So I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I thought I broke my nose, you know? And so I'm like, I'm driving home, and then I get home and I put ice on my nose, and I'm like, you know what? I bet she did something. I bet she was trying to do something. And I had this whole like really rational, calm conversation with myself because she thought she was like magical, right? Powerful. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let this go to God. I'm going to let this go to God. I iced my nose, and I said, I'm not going to think about this person again. So sure enough, 2 days later, forgot about her. And it's the way it works. I just was like on to other things. 2 days later, I go into the coffee shop, and she's in the front, and I see this girl's got this huge welt on her nose. Now mine had healed, right? So I'm like, what happened to your nose? And she's like, I think it was from laughing at you after that happened. But after you left, like minutes after you left, I went to go grab something, and I don't know what it was, came down, smashed her right smack in the middle of the nose. Now, I'm not going to be like, oh, good, you got yours, whatever. It wasn't about that. But I was like, isn't that interesting once I gave it to God? Once I gave it to God. And this is the hard part for people like myself and you guys with a lot of those fixed planets, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, you guys that are like, you're ambitious, but man, you don't let anything go, anything go. So, and of course, unless you got some mutable stuff going on there, and then you're going to be better at it, but it's not good to hold a grudge. So the moral of the story is I had to remind myself about this today because, you know, I deal with a lot of people's emotions and you guys, I know we all got people in our lives that have done stuff to us, but I have to kind of help people with this kind of stuff. And I get it. I get why people hold on. Because the same tenacity that you hold on the grudge is the same tenacity that will one day make you successful. So it's more about where you put that stubborn, I'm not letting go energy. And grudges aren't really a good, healthy place to put it because it affects us, it affects your health, it affects the way you look, you know. I mean, like if I'm holding one bad, like I get like big dark circles under my eyes, I'll start to get sick, and I'm like, oh God, please take this grudge away from me. But anyway, the point of the story is let them go to God. And you have to like literally pray to release it because they are powerful and they are energy. And I want to say this particularly right now because everybody's fighting and everything else, and because of political stuff or whatever, like this is why I just write on my business page and I just do strictly business stuff on social media from now on because I'm like constantly in a state of being mad. So it's better for me, for my subconscious, to separate myself from what's going on in the world right now, focus on what I do, which is helping people, helping animals, everything else, reading and letting people and astrology and everything else. But right now we are in an intense period. Never mind the fact that we just had a new moon in Libra, and new moons make people anxious and everything, especially if you're sensitive. Okay, if you're sensitive, a lot of people have a really hard time on new moons, just like the full moon. But sometimes new moons are a little bit even more difficult for people. But remember, at the end of the day, the new moon is about a new beginning. It's about a fresh start. It's about getting rid of all the stress and anxiety and everything else from the past month and starting again. We always have a chance to start again. So again, lastly, I want to stress the fact with this particular Mercury retrograde to, if you believe in God like I do, let that stuff go. God will take care of people, okay? God will. We don't have to do it, right? It's not our job. We don't need all that pressure on us. So thanks so much for watching. And you guys, please comment below whatever you feel, how you deal with this kind of stuff, because I know a lot of people are dealing with it right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and we want to be happy, right? So let it go and let God. Thanks. Bye.